Welcome. Today, we're moving away from the usual topics. We're dedicating this deep dive to something much darker. Pure, unfiltered terror.
Yeah, we're synthesizing firsthand accounts here, real testimony.
Exactly. Stories of, well, true malevolence. We've gathered accounts ranging from, amateur summoning attempts that went horribly wrong.
To really terrifying entities that seem to be actively seeking hosts or attachments, especially along isolated roads.
Our goal isn't just to retell scary stories, though.
No, definitely not. We're trying to look deeper. These are intimate encounters, and taken together, they really challenge our understanding of, well, reality.
Right.
We're looking for the common threads, the dark attachments, the curses, the frightening consistency in how these forces seem to manifest and interact with people.
Okay, so let's start unpacking this darkness. The first case, it feels like almost a textbook example of opening a door.
And the consequences, yeah.
The consequences of one mistake that seems to have cursed an entire family line. We start in Oxnard, California, a townhouse.
Just a group of teenage girls and a Ouija board, but get this, it was just made of paper.
Homemade, basically.
Right. Their intention seemed harmless enough, relatively speaking, trying to contact a friend's deceased father.
But the response they got wasn't him.
No. The feeling was immediate and terrifying. Something else came through.
And in their panic, what did they do?
They just ripped up the paperboard and, well, walked away. They didn't do the one crucial thing you're supposed to do.
Close the session properly.
Exactly. They left the invitation wide open.
And the signs started almost immediately, didn't they? Confirming something was wrong.
Yes. The mother soon after saw a dark shape. It apparently darted down the steps really fast,
Just a glimpse.
peeking over the half-wall railing, then gone. And right after, she felt this profound, strong, cold chill flood the living room.
Like he was checking them out, assessing.
Precisely. Okay, so now, fast forward 2 years, the family's long gone from the house, but the narrator, the one telling the story, goes back to the house. It's abandoned, kind of falling apart, needs cleaning out.
And this is where it gets physical again.
Yeah, evidence of something still attached. They find a full-length mirror hung prominently.
Something they didn't own.
One they'd never seen before. And the narrator's 8-year-old granddaughter, who's with her, she's drawn to it.
An 8-year-old. Oh, no.
She just stared into this mirror and was apparently paralyzed with fear.
What did she see or feel?
She told her grandmother she was standing totally alone in the reflection. Everything around her was just blackness.
Just darkness.
And she had this overwhelming feeling that something was coming.
Wow. Okay, so what do you do?
They didn't hesitate. They smashed the mirror instantly, just shattered it.
Which is interesting, though. Why target the mirror specifically?
That's a good question. It could speak to the entity needing, perhaps, a reflection, or maybe using it as a kind of psychological anchor, a portal even. But destroying the mirror didn't get rid of it. That same night, the phenomena continued. Still in the house.
Yeah. The narrator felt movement in the hall, described these surges of blackness moving around, and wisps of cold air pushing under the door.
So the presence was still there, actively moving.
Definitely. And the family history adds another layer here. It suggests this entity might have found a host in the eldest sister, Honey.
Honey?
Yeah. Described as having a very dark side. Apparently, she even had a spirit friend when she was a child.
Yeah.
And the narrator speculates that maybe this entity, the one from the Ouija board, attached itself to her somehow, fed off her unstable mental state later in life.
So the implication is if the Ouija board let it in and it attached to Honey, what happens when Honey dies?
Exactly. Honey's final moments are described as her eyes wide with fear, staring straight up and to her right.
And that spot.
That was the exact spot she always claimed she felt a dark presence clouding her thoughts.
Telling.
The theory now is that this entity, untethered from Honey after her death, is, well, lost. And it's showing up at other family members' homes.
Looking for a new host, potentially. All from that one casual mistake with a paper Ouija board. It might have cursed the family's future.
That's deeply disturbing, dealing with a personal breach like that. But let's shift gears. Let's talk about a different kind of unsettling pattern.
Okay.
Geographically cursed locations. Malevolence rooted in, isolation.
Ah, yes, the mail carrier stories. These are harrowing.
This poor mail carrier has a rural route that just seems populated by genuinely frightening persistent things.
Right, and the isolation seems key here. It allows certain behaviors, certain dark attachments to really take root and flourish. The sources detail 3 specific terrifying locations.
Let's start with the Bailey cluster, or as the carrier calls it, the clown house.
Just the name is unsettling.
The description sounds like something out of a nightmare. A compound just covered in clown stuff. Statues, decals, wind chimes.
And a rocking chair painted like a nightmarish clown.
Which the carrier has to use sometimes to leave parcels.
Yeah, and one time, they specifically stopped the chair from rocking so the boxes wouldn't fall off, made sure it was still.
Yeah.
But as soon as they turned their back to leave, the creaking started again. Loudly.
On its own.
Violently rocking. Enough that it actually knocked a box off. It wasn't just like the wind or momentum. It felt deliberate.
Like someone unseen just pushed it.
Pulled it back and thrust it forward. Active, almost playful.
Yeah.
But deeply malicious.
And the whole place is just weird. 10 people supposedly live there.
But the carrier has never seen a single person. Ever.
Vehicles are always there, but they never move.
Right. And even when the carrier calls ahead, which they have to do sometimes, the phone just rings inside. The caller ID apparently shows up as male lady.
Male lady.
Yeah. And no one ever answers until the carrier is driving away from the property.
That is bizarre. And there was an incident with a heavy box.
A 75-pound box. The carrier put it down, walked maybe halfway down the driveway, took about 10 seconds, looked back. The box was gone. Vanished.
75 pounds in 10 seconds.
And then they heard a man's voice whisper right near them. Thank you, but no one was there.
Okay, moving on quickly. The next place.
The Blood House.
Oh, boy.
The name is literal. The history is grim. A son murdered his parents inside and apparently used their blood to paint the walls before killing himself. Tried to paint the floor with his own blood. Just horrific.
And people live there now.
Yes. Bafflingly, the current homeowners, described as Mr. and Mrs. Nice. They know the history. They call the spirit Tommy.
They gave the murderous spirit a nickname.
And they pity him. They even told the carrier to always watch the third window when they deliver.
Why the third window?
That was apparently the guest room where some of it happened. So the carrier looks...
And sees?
An anguished face, like the sad mask from drama, you know? Just for a second. Then it vanishes, and the curtain is instantly drawn shut from the inside.
Creepy enough, but it got worse.
Much worse. The carrier had to leave a package around the back once. As they walked around the corner, they ran into something.
Something physical.
An invisible wall. That's how they described it. Couldn't move forward. And felt this oppressive, heavy presence pushing against them.
Physically pushing.
Forcing them back. It was so terrifying, it induced immediate panicked tears. They just had to back away.
Wow. That's moved beyond just seeing things. That's a physical assault.
Absolutely. We've gone from that weird, malicious playfulness at the clown house to outright physical intimidation. These things are controlling the physical space.
Okay, the final location on this nightmare route. The Hills Have Eyes house.
Yeah, the name says a lot. The carrier describes the smell as just atrocious, constant smell of death.
Why?
Butchering equipment everywhere, bloody knives, cleavers, chains, hooks, just scattered around.
Good Lord, like a slaughterhouse left open.
Exactly. And here, the manifestation defies physics again. There was a single dead chicken hanging and a huge dressed cow carcass hanging from a pole.
Okay.
No wind at all. None. But both the chicken and the giant cow carcass started swinging back and forth in perfect tandem.
A whole cow carcass swinging with no wind.
The force required for that? It suggests incredible localized power.
And did that power turn on the carrier?
It did. They felt a hard tug on their shirt from behind, pulled them backward, made them fall. They scrambled up, tried to run for the car, and felt another tug. And then, right as they got to the car door...
Don't tell me.
A god-awful laugh right beside them.
Nope. That's too much. The previous carrier wasn't wrong then.
Seems not. That whole route just sounds cursed.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. The difference between the Oxnard entity and these ones.
How so?
The Oxnard entity seemed mobile.
Right.
It attached to Honey and potentially started looking for other family members.
That's a great point. It followed the host or potential hosts.
Whereas these rural entities, they feel intensely territorial.
Yes. Bound to the land, to the history of that specific property.
Right.
Like oppressive gatekeepers.
Right. Okay, let's shift from those very physical, aggressive hauntings to something different. An entity that seems to operate more on an auditory and temporal level.
The military school haunting, Virginia, 2004.
Yeah. A young cadet, only 14, alone on guard duty. It's dark, rainy, inside this old 1915 academic building. Near a large, empty study hall.
How does this one start?
Subtly at first. The building itself begins to shake softly.
Just a vibration.
Yeah. But then suddenly this rush of sound comes from the empty study hall.
What kind of sound?
Voices. Dozens and dozens of voices. Chaotic conversations, laughter, kids talking. Things like, pass me the answer.
Okay, so that sounds like residual energy maybe? Like an echo of the past caught in the building?
That's what you'd think initially. Right. But then it gets more structured. A tapping noise joins in.
Tapping?
Like a ruler hitting a desk. And this tapping isn't random. It moves around the room and then heads directly toward the swinging doors where the cadet is standing guard.
Okay, that suggests intelligence.
Yeah.
Not just a recording playing back.
Exactly. And the climax confirms that.
Yeah.
Suddenly, over all the other noise, an incredibly loud and unmistakable scream.
A scream of pain.
No, of authority. Like an instructor yelling, sit down and shut up. It's study time.
Wow.
And after that shout, total, immediate silence. Everything stopped.
Everything.
Except that tapping noise started again, moving fast, right towards the door where the cadet was.
So he ran.
He sprinted out of the building, wouldn't you?
Can't blame him. So the question is, was that just a particularly vivid residual event stuck on loop? Or was some entity, maybe the instructors, still actively trying to enforce study hall rules?
Right. Still policing the space decades later.
Okay.
Changing gears again. Let's talk about entities that seem to tap into really deep primal fears. Regional myths, maybe?
Cryptids and folkloric figures.
Yeah. First, there's a sighting near Mount Pisgah. Someone saw what they described as the biggest dog they had ever seen.
Big dog. Like a wolf.
It was described as very shaggy, very furry. But the truly terrifying part was its movement.
How so?
He crossed a large field in just seconds. Supernaturally fast. And more disturbing. When they looked back, it was standing. Standing.
On its hind legs. Stalking them. They never saw it walk on all fours, just standing there, moving with this impossible speed.
Okay, that's not a dog or a wolf. That's something else entirely. Pushes it into cryptid territory.
Definitely defies normal zoology. Then we have the account related to the Navajo werewolf.
The Yinaldushi.
Right, and the description provided by a Navajo resident is crucial here. It's very different from the European werewolf myth.
How is it different?
These aren't people who involuntarily turn into wolves under a full moon. The Yinaldushi are described as, well, essentially malevolent practitioners of dark magic.
Human practitioners.
Humans, yes, but masked, often using white paint with black symbols. They're associated with grave digging, necromancy, stealing jewelry from the dead.
Gaining power how?
Through these dark rituals, drawing power from, let's say, malevolent spirits or forces, often involving desecrating graves and using human remains. They are terrifyingly human, but powered by something deeply dark.
And there's a specific encounter.
Yes. The woman telling the story and her husband were driving at night. They hit something. Someone.
Oh, God.
A figure, covered in that distinct white paint, kneeling in the middle of the road.
They actually hit them?
Yes. Heard the sound, a sickening sound of cracking bones. Saw blood splash onto the windshield.
Horrible. So they stopped.
Of course. They stopped to investigate, check on the person. The land around was relatively flat, open.
Yeah.
Nothing. The figure was gone. The blood on the windshield? Gone. Every trace of the collision had simply vanished.
Vanished. Not just ran away, but gone.
Completely gone. Which suggests an ability not just to move quickly, but maybe to dissolve, to warp physical reality somehow.
Yeah.
Connects them to entities capable of really messing with our world.
That's deeply unsettling. Okay, we have to conclude the narrative part with maybe the most invasive, persistent haunting we've looked at.
The Jawless Watcher.
Just the name. This entity apparently started by running on all fours in the victim's living room. Every single night.
That sound alone would be terrifying.
But then the visual. The description is incredibly specific and disturbing.
What did it look like?
A shadow figure, permanently stuck in a kind of bridge pose, back arched off the floor.
Okay, weird.
Head always turned to the side. And the most critical detail, it has no jaw.
No jaw.
Completely missing. And when it gets close, the victim can physically feel its hands and feet pressing on the floor near them.
That specific physical detail, the bridge pose, the lack of a jaw, it feels symbolic, doesn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, the bridge pose could suggest being stuck, maybe, in transition, or even submission. But being jawless, that removes the ability to speak, to consume. It emphasizes its role purely as a watcher, a predator that observes.
The silent observer.
But the terror isn't just seeing it, it's the feeling when it looks at the victim. An intense, paralyzing feeling from its eyes gazing right into them. So intense, it causes the victim to pass out.
Passing out from fear.
And even years later, this male presence, they call it him, its attacks have shifted mainly to dreams. But just feeling its presence nearby while awake still induces this overwhelming urge to scream and shake.
So it's gone from physical manifestation to deep psychological warfare.
Exactly, controlling the subconscious. And the victim's final plea, the question they're left with after all this time, it kind of sums up the horror of all these stories. What is he? Or what does he want?
That unanswered question. It's chilling. Looking back across all these accounts, from the Ouija board mistake in Oxnard,
To the cursed mail route, the military school echoes, the strange creatures.
to this jawless watcher, there's a disturbing pattern, isn't there? Malevolent energy is never really passive.
No, it seems driven. Whether it's invited in through a ritual or tied to a dark place or forms a deep personal attachment, these entities are seeking something.
A connection, a host, control. They aren't just bumping in the night, they're interacting, often malevolently.
And the strongest attachments, like the jawless watcher, seem to evolve. They move from physical scares to attacks on the psyche itself.
The consistency across these stories is what gets me. The physical sensations, the cold, the pressure being touched or pulled, the inexplicable movements, the overwhelming fear.
It does suggest a reality that's, well, far more complex and frankly more terrifying than just fiction or imagination. These forces feel active, present.
And sometimes it feels like they're looking right back at you, waiting.
Thank you to the listeners who joined us in this descent into these frightening tales. We hope these stories leave you contemplating what hides in the shadows.
Indeed. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docx, to follow other exciting and terrifying stories to come.